The stars shimmered quietly above Earth, calm and peaceful, as if they had no idea what was about to happen. Then, without warning, the sky split apart. Massive alien ships appeared, dark and glittering like floating knives, their engines humming with a deep metallic growl. The people of Earth looked up in shock. The night sky suddenly filled with strange lights and golden patterns. Within minutes, every screen, every phone, every broadcast channel flickered to life. A voice spoke, proud, echoing, and dripping with arrogance. People of Earth, it said, your time as an independent world has ended. You now serve the Galactic Union. For a few seconds, there was silence across the planet. Then the same message repeated, louder and slower. Submit to the Union, or face annihilation. The voice belonged to Admiral Tsar, leader of the 7th Imperial Armada. A being feared across hundreds of worlds, to him this was routine. Just another primitive planet being brought into line. He expected panic, fear, screaming, the usual response of lesser species. But Earth was not like the others in New York. Traffic stopped as people looked up at the glowing sky. In Tokyo, office workers gathered near windows. Filming the strange ships in London, reporters rushed to rooftops for a better view. Everywhere, people pointed their phones upward. Recording, sharing, posting within minutes. The invasion had become the biggest trending event in human history. But instead of fear, the reaction was laughter. Memes began appearing online. One showed a picture of the alien ships with the caption, "When your Wi-Fi bill is due and they come to collect." Another read, "Area 51 finally delivered." The Galactic Union couldn't understand what was happening. From orbit, Admiral Tsar watched as the humans laughed. No panic, no surrender, no fear. Are they mocking us? He growled. His second in command, a smaller alien with blue scales, replied nervously, "They appear to be celebrating, sir." "Celebrating what?" Tsar hissed, his eyes narrowing. "We just threatened to destroy their planet." "I don't know, sir," the aide replied, "but they're broadcasting music now, indeed, on Earth." Speakers and car radios began blasting music. A spontaneous party had begun in cities across the world. Some humans were dancing in the streets, waving signs that said things like, "Welcome, Space Bros," and "Free Wi-Fi or we riot." Fireworks were launched not as weapons but as a joke, painting the sky with bright colors beneath the alien ships. From space, it looked like Earth was throwing a celebration instead of surrendering. Admiral Tsar slammed his clawed hand against his command chair. "This is unacceptable. They are supposed to fear us." He ordered his ships to descend lower into the atmosphere. The great armada filled the sky like a storm of black thunderclouds, their cannons glowing with plasma light. He opened every communication channel and shouted, "Humans, you stand before the might of the Galactic Union. Kneel or your world will burn." On Earth, people listened carefully. Then, one single voice came through a hacked transmission line. A human voice. Calm and amused, it said, "Hey, Galactic Union, if you're gonna threaten us, at least buy us dinner first." For a moment, there was stunned silence. Then laughter erupted across the entire planet. TV hosts, radio DJs, and social media influencers all joined in. The message spread like wildfire. Earth wasn't afraid. Earth was mocking the invaders. Admiral Tsar blinked in disbelief. "What kind of species are these humans?" he muttered. He had invaded hundreds of worlds, crushed entire civilizations. But never before had he faced an enemy that treated him like a joke. He sent another warning, louder than before. "This is not a game. You will obey." But every time he spoke, humans added their own subtitles to the broadcast. Warning, alien dad having a meltdown. Low battery detected in ego core. And, someone get this guy a hug within hours. The entire invasion had become a global comedy event. Late-night shows ran specials titled Scare Tactics Gone Wrong, Alien Edition. YouTubers live-streamed reactions, laughing as alien ships hovered menacingly over cities. One channel even put a donation goal. "If we reach 1 million likes, we'll send them pizza." And they did. Some private space companies actually launched small rockets filled with pizzas, beer, and thank you notes addressed to our intergalactic guests. From his flagship, Tsar watched in horror as human satellites delivered food. "Are they mocking our authority with cuisine?" he shouted. His aide whispered carefully, "Sir, one of the boxes says extra cheese." "Less fear." Tsar froze, speechless. The bridge crew avoided his gaze, afraid to laugh, but deep inside, even they were struggling to contain their amusement. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Humanity had united like never before, not in panic or war but in laughter, for the first time in centuries. The planet was truly one species. One mood, one giant inside joke, politicians, soldiers, and civilians all joined the wave of humor. News anchors began referring to the alien commander as Space Karen, and artists painted murals of the event with glowing letters that read, "They came to conquer, we came to clown." By the end of the first day, the Galactic Union's mighty invasion had turned into a viral meme. Admiral Czar couldn't believe it. His reputation, his empire's image, all ruined in a matter of hours. His final message to Earth was short, desperate and almost pleading, "Cease this. Mockery, humans. You don't understand who we are." And Earth replied with a single message displayed across every city screen. "Oh, we understand," it said. "You just picked the wrong planet to scare." In that moment, the galaxy changed forever, because fear was supposed to break humanity. But instead it became their punchline. And somewhere in the dark between stars, the universe began to laugh with them. The next morning, Earth woke up still laughing. News anchors tried to sound serious, but even they couldn't hide their smiles. Every broadcast began with the same headline: "The day the galaxy met humanity's sense of humor." On every continent, the same question echoed: who were these aliens? And why did they think scaring humans was a good idea? In orbit, the alien fleet hovered like silent statues. Admiral Czar had expected surrender, not sarcasm. He ordered his translators to monitor Earth's communications, hoping to find a sign of fear. But all they heard were jokes, songs, and late-night hosts roasting his speech. One popular clip showed his angry transmission edited with clown music. It had already reached 10 million views before he even knew it existed. On Earth, the governments met in emergency councils. The military wanted to prepare defenses, but the public had already declared victory. Socially, hashtags like "Our Alien Fails," "Space Karen," and "To Scare Us" more dominated every platform. People didn't hide indoors. They gathered in parks, rooftops, and city streets. Everyone wanted to see the cosmic circus above them. Even children were pointing at the sky, pretending to wave at the ships in a coffee shop in New York. Two young engineers came up with a wild idea. They hacked into the alien communication channel again. But this time, instead of insults, they sent a friendly message. It said, "Dear Galactic Union, welcome to Earth. Our customer service is currently unavailable. Please hold." And after 10 seconds of silence, they played the most annoying hold music ever made. Every alien officer on the fleet froze in disbelief as the same tune repeated endlessly. "Your invasion is important to us," the voice sang. "Please stay on the line." The laughter on Earth was unstoppable. Every time the aliens tried to make a new announcement, humans interrupted it with memes and sound effects. One broadcast was replaced by a dancing cartoon banana holding a flag that said, "No fear allowed." Another played the theme of an old comedy show. Right as Admiral Czar tried to declare martial law, humanity wasn't fighting back with weapons. It was fighting back with laughter. The aliens couldn't take it anymore. Admiral Czar slammed his claws into the command table. "These creatures are insane," he shouted. "Why are they not afraid?" His aide, trembling, replied, "Sir, they seem to find fear entertaining." "Entertaining," Czar repeated in disbelief. "We threaten them with destruction and they make music?" "Yes, sir," said the aide. "And they're selling t-shirts with your face on them." Czar's eyes glowed red with frustration. He had been called many things: a conqueror, warlord, emperor's blade, but never a joke. He decided to show the humans what fear really meant. "Charge the plasma array," he ordered. "Fire a warning shot." A bolt of blinding energy shot across the sky, cutting through the clouds like a second sun. It didn't hit anything, just lit the heavens with fire. People on Earth stared, stunned for a few seconds. Then someone yelled, "Fireworks!" and the crowd started cheering again. In Rio, people danced under the glow of the blast. In Paris, someone projected, "Nice light show." On a building in Tokyo, entire neighborhoods chanted, "Do it again." Tsar nearly fainted. The humans thought his weapon display was beautiful. Every other species would have surrendered by now. But Earth turned his invasion into a global festival. Soon, companies started making money off it. Posters, mugs, and holograms of the alien ship sold out instantly. A fast food chain even introduced a new burger called the Galactic Special. Every act of intimidation only made humans laugh harder. Even the United Nations changed its tone. sending a message to the Galactic Union that said, "Your attempt to conquer Earth has been received. Please rate your invasion experience out of 5 stars." Across the galaxy, other races watched in astonishment. Millions tuned into Earth's open broadcasts. They expected humanity to cry for mercy. Instead, they watched them make jokes, hold concerts, and live-stream the invasion like a comedy event. For the first time in galactic history, a war threat had gone viral and lost. Inside his warship, Zar held his head in his claws. His officers avoided eye contact, afraid to laugh. "End transmission," he muttered. "These humans are defective." But it was too late because deep in Earth's orbit, another hacked message blinked onto every alien screen. It was a short video, a human in sunglasses saying, "You came to scare us, but you only made us famous." Zar stared in disbelief as the video ended with Earth's flag and a message that read, "Fear doesn't live here anymore." He turned to his crew and whispered, "They're not afraid because they don't understand," his aide replied softly. "No, sir. They're not afraid because they remember who they are." From that day, every alien in the fleet would remember the humans, not as weak or primitive, but as something far more terrifying, a species that laughs at fear, a planet that turns threats into jokes, and a civilization that taught the galaxy one simple truth: you can't intimidate a species that finds danger funny. The Galactic Union had never faced anything like this. Every other world had surrendered within hours, but Earth had turned their invasion into entertainment. What was meant to be fear had become a meme. What was meant to be domination had become a festival. Inside the flagship, Admiral Zar stared at the live feeds from Earth. The humans were throwing parties, launching fireworks, and wearing costumes shaped like alien helmets. He could see banners waving from rooftops, words written in bold letters. "Welcome to Earth, please take a number." He clenched his claws in frustration. "This is not war," he said. "This is humiliation." Across the galaxy, the broadcast was being watched on thousands of alien worlds. Species who had once feared the Galactic Union now sat in bars and stations, laughing at the spectacle. Clips of humans mocking their invaders spread faster than light. One video of a human pretending to surrender, only to hand the alien a "sorry, we're closed" sign, reached 10 billion views. Another of a little girl offering a confused alien soldier a cookie became an instant classic. And soon even the strict and humorless races of the galaxy began to smile. The Galactic Council demanded an explanation. Admiral Zar stood before them via hologram, his tone rigid and cold. "These humans are deranged," he said. "Their behavior is illogical, unpredictable, and dangerous. They weaponize amusement," he added, his voice shaking. One council member leaned forward, curious. "Dangerous? In what way?" Zar's hologram twitched. "They mock power," he said. "They laugh in the face of destruction, and it's spreading." He wasn't wrong. Across distant worlds, alien citizens began sharing human jokes. They laughed at their own rulers, their own empires, their own fears. What started as Earth's defense had become a movement. Laughter had become rebellion on the flagship. Zar's officers whispered quietly among themselves. "Sir," said one of them, "we have a new problem." "What now?" Zar snapped. "Our soldiers." "They've started laughing." "What?" The officer nodded nervously. The humans broadcast something called stand-up comedy. Zar frowned. "Stand-up? What is that?" "A human talking and everyone else losing control," said the officer. "Sir, even our translators can't stop watching it." Zar walked to the viewport, his reflection glowing in the dim light. He could see Earth spinning peacefully below, surrounded by his powerful fleet. He whispered to himself, "We came to rule them, and now they rule the galaxy's attention." For the first time in his career, Admiral Zar felt something new. Not anger, not pride, but embarrassment. Meanwhile, on Earth, humans were busy planning the next big prank. Hackers found a way to beam messages directly onto the alien command screens. This time they sent an invitation. It read, "Dear Galactic Union, please join us for Earth's first interstellar comedy night." The aliens thought it was another taunt, but millions of humans tuned in live. On stage stood a man holding a microphone. Smiling under the bright lights, he began with the words, "So, an alien fleet walks into a solar system." Laughter erupted across the planet. Even the alien soldiers on the ground couldn't resist. Their translators struggled to keep up as human humor infected every frequency. It was unstoppable. Every attempt the Union made to control the narrative backfired. Every warning broadcast they sent was remixed into comedy. Every threat became a meme. Even their emperor's speech was turned into a music video titled, "When Empires Cry." Within days, fear of humanity had turned into fascination. Merchants across the stars began selling Earth merchandise, holographic shirts, coffee mugs, and stickers that said, "Don't scare humans, they bite back with jokes." Some alien historians called it the Day of Infinite Laughter. Others called it the Great Misunderstanding. But for humanity, it was just Tuesday. Back on his flagship, Tsar sat alone in the dark. He replayed one of the human broadcasts in silence. It was a news clip of a small child laughing at his image. For a moment, even he smiled, though he didn't know why. "They don't fear me," he said softly. "They never did." He looked at his officers. Maybe we should learn from them. But before he could give new orders, his screens filled with another transmission from Earth. It was a message written in big, bold letters. "Don't worry, Galactic Union. We forgive you. First round's on us." And below it, an image of humans raising glasses of soda. Cheering, the crew stared at the screen in silence. Tsar let out a slow sigh. "End transmission," he said. "We're leaving." As the fleet pulled away from orbit, Earth glowed beneath them, still covered in lights and laughter. The Admiral looked one last time and muttered, "These creatures are chaos wrapped in humor." His aide nodded. "Yes, sir, and somehow, it works." Far across the galaxy, laughter continued to spread. Empires began to question their power, rulers began to fear ridicule, and the humans? They went back to their lives, working, dreaming, creating, joking, because that was their strength. They didn't fight fear with power. They destroyed it with laughter, and that, the galaxy realized, was far more dangerous than any weapon. Weeks passed after the laughter storm. The Galactic Union's pride was shattered, their fleets humiliated, their broadcasts turned into memes, so the Council decided to try something different. Not war, not threats. Diplomacy. A gleaming silver shuttle descended through Earth's clouds. Inside sat Ambassador Reth, chosen for his calm nature and endless patience. He had negotiated peace between warring species before. Surely he could handle one small blue planet. The shuttle touched down in Washington, D.C., right on the White House lawn. Crowds gathered behind security fences. Phones raised, live streaming the moment. The air was filled with excitement. Reporters shouting questions. "Do you come in peace?" One yelled. Reth stepped out proudly, his long robes flowing, his translator drone hovering beside him. "We come representing the Galactic Union," he began. "We offer terms of—" Before he could finish, a small boy's voice shouted from the crowd, "Nice pajamas!" The audience burst into laughter. Reth blinked, confused, then tried again. "We bring an offer of mutual respect and—" Someone interrupted, "Did you bring Wi-Fi?" The translator glitched from all the laughter. Its screen flashed random phrases like, "Peace popcorn." Party mode activated. Nearby soldiers tried not to laugh but failed completely. Reth sighed, wondering if this was how civilizations collapsed. From too much comedy. Inside the press tent, world leaders waited. They had decided to approach this meeting with the same weapon humanity had mastered: humor. When the alien ambassadors entered, President Lewis smiled warmly. "Welcome to Earth," she said. "I hope the invasion was comfortable." Reth paused, unsure if that was a joke or an insult. "Uncomfortable," he replied carefully. "Your people laughed at us." "Laughter is how we breathe," Lewis said. "And sometimes how we forgive." To show goodwill, she presented them with gifts. Mugs printed with "I survived Earth's invasion and all I got was this cup." The aliens stared at them in silence. Then one of them whispered, "This is..." Wonderful. They didn't understand why. But it felt right. It felt like peace outside. The humans were still celebrating. A marching band played cheerful tunes. Vendors sold shirts that read "Intergalactic Friendship Tour." The aliens looked around. Seeing happiness everywhere, no hatred, no revenge, only laughter and light, Reth finally smiled. Realizing what made this species so strange, they didn't erase their fear, they transformed it. That evening, a grand dinner was held. The aliens sat beside human diplomats, sharing food and stories. At first, communication was awkward. But soon everyone was laughing again. The translator drone recorded everything for the Union's archives. Its final note read, "Warning. Humans disarm enemies using laughter. Highly effective." Meanwhile, the Galactic Union's fleets orbiting above watched the broadcast. They couldn't believe what they saw. Their proud ambassadors eating spaghetti while humans made jokes about space taxes. Across the galaxy, trillions tuned in. What started as an invasion had become a reality show titled First Contact Earth Edition. Admiral Czar, now retired in quiet shame, watched the scene from a remote outpost. He expected mockery, but instead he heard something else. Joy. The humans were laughing with the aliens. Not at them. And for the first time he smiled too. Maybe, he thought. Fear was never the right language after all. On Earth, night fell over the cities. Fireworks lit the sky once again. Not in defiance, but in celebration. Children waved glow sticks. Aliens waved back. And through all the noise and color, a single truth echoed across the stars. Humans had done what no army could. They had turned fear into friendship. As the Galactic Union prepared to depart, Ambassador Reth left a message for humanity. "Your world is chaotic, loud, and completely unpredictable," he said, "but it is also wonderful. The galaxy has much to learn from you." President Lewis smiled and replied, "Just don't try to scare us again." Reth bowed his head. "We won't." When their ship rose into the night, thousands cheered. The broadcast went galactic once more, but this time, the laughter wasn't mockery. It was unity. And somewhere in the endless void, the universe itself seemed to smile. The stars were quiet again. The warships gone, the fear forgotten. Only the soft hum of satellites and the laughter of a living planet filled the void. For the first time in galactic memory, peace did not come from treaties or armies. It came from smiles, from jokes, from one species that refused to be afraid. Ambassador Reth's ship sailed home through the dark. Carrying memories instead of prisoners behind him, Earth glowed blue and alive. He looked at it through the viewport and whispered, "They changed everything." His aide nodded slowly. "Yes, sir, they fight with hearts, not weapons." When the Galactic Council met again, the chamber was silent. No one dared mock the humans anymore. Instead of fear, there was curiosity, respect, maybe even admiration. Reth stood before them and spoke simply. "We tried to control them through fear, but fear is useless against joy. The humans," he said, "have taught us something far greater than power. They taught us how to laugh." Across the galaxy, something began to shift. Worlds once ruled by tyranny started telling jokes in public squares. Old enemies sent gifts instead of threats. And laughter, that strange human sound, echoed across planets where it had never been heard before. Empires softened, soldiers smiled, and even machines learned to understand humor. On Earth, the people went back to their daily lives. But they knew the universe was watching now. Every transmission from other worlds carried greetings, songs, and laughter. New friendships formed through comedy broadcasts and cultural exchanges. Human comedians became ambassadors without titles, their words crossing light years faster than any diplomacy ever could. Admiral Czar, now an old and weary alien, watched the galactic news from his quiet home. He saw children of many species laughing together in a school on Mars. He smiled softly, remembering the day he tried to scare them. "They defeated me without firing a shot," he murmured. "And I am grateful." He recorded his final message to the archives. "Fear enslaves, laughter frees," he said. "May every empire remember Earth back on the planet." Humanity celebrated a new holiday. They called it Galactic Friendship Day every year. Ships from different species came to orbit and share stories. They danced, sang, and yes, laughed together. It became the day the stars remembered that peace could be loud, joyful, and full of music. In the great observatories of Luna, scientists looked out into the endless night. They could see faint lights blinking in distant systems, signals of other civilizations laughing back. Humanity had done the impossible. They had united a galaxy not through power or conquest, but through spirit. President Lewis stood before a crowd of millions and spoke softly into the wind. "Once they tried to frighten us," she said. "But fear cannot survive where joy exists. Let this world remain a beacon, a reminder that courage can sound like laughter." The crowd cheered, their voices rising like a single heartbeat that reached the stars. Far beyond the Milky Way and forgotten corners of space, ancient races recorded the tale. They wrote of a strange little planet whose people could not be broken, a world that met war with wit and turned terror into comedy. And the story ended with one simple truth repeated again and again. Never try to scare the humans, because when humanity laughs, the universe listens. And when humanity smiles, the universe remembers, for in the end, that was the greatest power of all, not the strength to destroy, but the strength to heal, not through silence, but through laughter that echoed across eternity. And so the galaxy learned its final lesson, that fear may rule for a time, but joy, the kind that burns in the heart of humanity, will always win.